Hey everyone, my name is Lane Merrifield. Welcome to Club Penguin. This is where we work hard every day to make Club Penguin come into reality, and we'll start here. This is one of our creative rooms or kind of brainstorming areas for meetings. This also happens to be modeled after a famous pirate in Club Penguin called, you guessed it, Captain Rockhopper. This here is my office. This is where I hang out and do some work. As you can see, little Wally in the corner there. He's one of my favorites. And also, I put in a request to get one of every toy we ever make with Club Penguin. So obviously, I'm a big fan of Walt and Walt Disney, and so we found this in the archives, which actually comes from some old Mary Poppins footage where he was there with the artists and introducing the penguins. So we thought, hey, Walt, penguins. He loved them back then. He would love them now. So obviously it wouldn't be Club Penguin without some of our famous characters. And so here we've set up a little display, a little velvet rope, which means kind of hands off. These are all the portraits of some of our most popular and beloved characters. All right, so this just shows you a little bit of how Club Penguin is created. Everything starts out hand-drawn with a sketch. And so again, we've got some amazing artists who take the kids' ideas and the kids' creativity and turn it into reality. And eventually it goes through the process, it gets painted, it gets colored and shaded, and turns into what gets experienced online. And we're launching and releasing new content every single week, and so it's constantly moving. We're pretty nonstop, 52 weeks a year. All right, so every year we do something called Coins for Change that allows kids and our audience to be able to choose where it is we donate a portion of subscriptions to every year. And last year we gave away over $1.5 million. And these are just some of the organizations that we have given the money to, and they have sent us really cool thank yous. So obviously this is from a village that we built a school in and also provided some water facilities. So not only do penguins love pizza, but so does our staff. And if we're going to keep penguins fed, we also need to make sure that our team is fed, and we have drinks and we have food and we have a great space to just hang out with each other in our lounge, our very own little cafe here. Gotta have the healthy stuff too. Every young, passionate staff needs a little bit of coffee once in a while. And so we don't just do coffees, we do lattes and cappuccinos and everything else. And if we're gonna make cool games in the virtual world, we need to make sure that we are having fun with games in the real world. So this is our games room. We got a little rock band, a little guitar hero, some foosball, some of the classic games, a little burger time, a little bubble bobble, and then ping pong. I get very serious when I play.
Fun and games aside, Lane Merrifield, who's a mere 31 years old with a laid-back attitude and infectious smile, helped create Club Penguin, one of the largest and fastest-growing virtual worlds for children. The online club lets subscribers take on the identity of a penguin and then waddle and chat in places like the ski hill, coffee shop, disco, or even your own custom-built igloo. Well, back in 2005, these three guys, Dave Crisco, Lane, and Lance Priba, joined forces to create the online playground that was ad-free, nearly unheard of.
We got together as a group of dads and said, we've seen what's out there, we know how to build and create these things, and we think we might be able to do it better. And so, and not just do it better because we're more creative or more inventive or whatever, but really do it better because we're starting with the heart of the parent and not with just the heart of business.
Within 18 months, that group of three grew into over 150 employees, and within 2 years, Disney was knocking on the door to the tune of $350 million. The three creators, instant millionaires. And while Lane is now the executive vice president of Disney Interactive, you'll still find him on Club Penguin every single day.
But I also log in quite a bit and play. Even this morning I was on for, well, don't tell my assistant this. I was on for probably close to an hour this morning, just hanging out and asking the kids what they thought of the Halloween party and how much fun it was and what we should do differently, and I love it.
That adventurous attitude started young with Lane. His first job was working at Disneyland in the Lion King parade.
It was the best job in the world because at 16 years old, I was being paid to run a remote control alligator through the streets of Disneyland.
Lane says he's learned a lot from those days at Disney, especially when it comes to customer service.
Almost anyone who goes to Disneyland can see just how clean it is and how well taken care of it is and how friendly people are. But when you go behind the scenes and you see that same passion translated even when no one's around and no one's looking, that was something that rung true to me. And so I realized that it was as much a culture there as it was a mandate. And so for us, we wanted to make sure we built that same culture into our own staff and into our own team.
And that's what helps sets Club Penguin apart from other virtual sites. The staff that works around the clock and around the world, personally answering emails, responding to blogs, and keeping kids safe. And when it comes to the staff,
no matter how talented someone is, they have to care about kids in order to work here, because otherwise, you know, there's lots of other places where they can just use their talents. We need to make sure that we keep our audience first.
The award-winning site's geared towards creativity and learning, and of course, having fun.
The exciting thing for me is not just the parties that we plan, which will, you know, sometimes be a couple times a month, but at least once a month. But even more than that, the parties that the kids plan. And even this morning, I was logging in, and someone was having a, well, what was it? It was like an airline party. I don't know why. Why party about airlines? I don't know. It's cool. And I think the reason is because they'd converted their igloo using totally non-plane related stuff to make it look like a plane. They had little seats lined up, and they had, you know, rows and aisles and doors, and it was really cool. And so of course you had, you know, 20 or 30 kids in there having an airline party because it was in a plane somehow. And you know, that's the kind of stuff that I think is even more creative than what we're putting out there.
So let's turn it over to the kids.
Why did you make Club Penguin?
Hey Kaylin, well that's a great question. You know, we originally created Club Penguin for our kids, and I have a little boy named Joshua who loves Club Penguin and who is on there. You may even run into him someday. But he's the reason why we originally started this, and we're grateful that a lot of other kids like it too.
I want to know if you're gonna make a Club Penguin movie.
Well, Sammy, there's a lot of parts of that question that are top secret that I can't really talk about. But I will say that we work really hard to give you guys what you want, and so we've heard from a lot of different players that they want to see a movie, and so we're looking into it and thinking about it, but we haven't made any decisions yet. So, but we'll let you know as soon as we do.
Hi Lane, my name is Nick, and my question is, why are penguins the main character of Club Penguin?
Well, Nick, it's a good question. One of the things about penguins that if you learn about them or learn about them in school, you'll find out that penguins need to work together in order to survive, and a lot of their life is about community and about taking care of each other and helping each other out. And those are some of the same things that we wanted Club Penguin to be about. And besides, they're a lot of fun. They waddle when they walk. They sometimes, you know, slip and fall on the ice. They can be a little bit clumsy, and you know, just like all of us can be sometimes. So it's they're a great animal that way.
We had some more questions for Lane, like which penguin's his favorite?
I really like G because he is, you know, he's the inventor. He's a little bit nerdy, but always is there to kind of save the day with his inventions or his technologies or those types of things.
So what advice does Lane have for children looking to follow in his footsteps?
Well, I would tell them, first of all, that I'm not sure if I understand exactly how I got to where I am. Probably one of the fundamental things that I talk about, well, actually I don't talk about it very much, but I'll talk about it with you because you've seen me over next, is one of my fondest memories as a kid was building a tree house. And it wasn't just any tree house. Unfortunately, our yard didn't have very many trees, so this was over at a friend's house. And he and I, for like 6 weeks straight, every weekend were there. And as much, you know, we kind of would try to build it with the least amount of parental supervision required. But I mean, I look back and we were like 8, 9 years old, and we're like hammering nails and drilling stuff and using power tools. I remember viscerally that sense of adventure and wonder and the feeling that we can do anything, and as long as we work hard enough at it and put our efforts into it and use our creativity and problem solve, we can do this thing. And that's a lot of what, for us, it's not about, hey kids, here's a cool tree house. For us, it's like, here's some wood, here's some nails, here's a great tree with lots of limbs, and let us come alongside and just help you create something cool. And that's, I don't know, that's what gets me excited to come into work every day.
A workplace that seems so surreal that even Lane's 7-year-old son doesn't even believe him.
He had to interview me for class recently, and so he's like, what do you do? And so again, I'm trying to utterly simplify it. So I'm like, oh, well, Daddy makes games for a living, and video games, and that's, you know, part of what I do, but it's online. And again, he's like, no, you don't. I'm like, well, what do you think I do? He goes, you work for Disney. And I said, well, yeah, I work for Disney, but that's what I do with Disney. And he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna write that down, Dad. Can you help me out here, Dad? Can you just say accounting or something that sounds more normal?